Hello everyone, welcome for the next session. So we are continuing with our series of 150 must do questions, part 17. Right, so we are just a month away, and therefore I'm sure that you're keeping yourself cool, calm, and collected. That's the first and foremost thing. I think that's the most important thing, right? All of us, right, have. I would say more or less this is the point that by now we have saturated on our knowledge part, right? Now I think it's the most important thing is how you keep yourself, uh, keep your nerves calm, right? How do you face the exam, right? The mood, the and the spirit with which you are facing the exam. All that being said, obviously the knowledge is the most important thing, but I'm saying that whatever we know by now, it is important that we apply that in the most reward generating manner, such that we are fetching the questions which we can do, right? So that's the whole I think momentum that we should carry going into the exam. So I wish you all the best with all that we have done, right? So I hope you get to where you want now. So therefore the session is ready. We should just get into it, right? Let's practice. Here we go, people. Okay, so before we start, just to remind you that your last cat before cat, so CDC 4 is something that you should be looking up to. Registration date is until 12th of November. So experience deja vu on cat day with CDC 4, which means you are going to get the exact same environment, the way you're giving the exam. It should give you the sense of okay how this is, it should look like. So apart from actually giving the exam, the actual whole feel around it, right? Going into the exam center with your admit card and all the things that follow up, right? Okay, so here we go. Let's start the first one. Ratios. Okay, so let's dive in. In a class, 92% girls and 80% boys passed an examination. If the same number of students had failed, but all were girls, only 80% girls would have passed. What is the ratio of the number of girls to boys? Perfect. Hmm. If the same number of students had failed, so the thing that strikes me is that what is equal? Failed students, right? Failed students are same in the first and the second case, both of them. So we have to find the ratio of number of girls to boys. Failed students in the first scenario is 8% of girls, 8% of girls, plus, since 80% of boys have passed, so 20% have failed, so 20% of boys. So 8% girls have failed, 20% boys have failed. In the second scenario, if only girls fail, but the same number of students fail, 80% girls would have passed. So 20% girls will have failed. So this should be the same as, therefore, 20% of the girls. So in any question, the most important thing is to catch the equality. What is the same, right? So, and that creates the equation. So that's a theme of this question. So I guess we're getting now the relation 20 minus 8, which means that 12% of the girls are the same as 20% of the boys, right? So therefore, girls to boys is asked. So girls to boys is what? 20 by 12 or 5 by 3. That's your answer. 5 is to 3. Perfect. So I guess uh, everybody can do this, right? Okay. Next one. No, time and distance. Let me give you a few seconds to just digest this question, start trying, and give me the answer if you can. Right? Let me take a pause for a sec. A lot of people in the session, so I'm expecting some response here. Okay, so let me know if you're getting the answer. Let me start. So trains, two trains are coming towards each other, right? One of them left station P at 12 p.m., reached at 6 p.m. That's a 6 hour journey. So first train which leaves from station P, right? It takes 6 hours. We're going from P to Q. The other train starts from Q, but it does not start at the same time. It starts at 1 p.m. Okay. Psycho will just check. You're saying D. Thank you. We'll just check. Now, so the point is this time difference is there. So we have to take care of that, right? Another thing is that distance is not given. So whenever some number, some data is not given, we can always assume it, right? So this train is effectively taking 6 hours. The one starting from P, it's taking 6 hours from 12 to 6. The other one is going from 1 to 10 p.m. It is taking 9 hours basically, right? So take the distance to be a multiple of both 6 and 9 so that speeds will come in integer form. So 9 and 16 LCM is 18. Take the distance as 180 kilometers, right? Assume the distance to be any value, let's say 180 kilometers. So therefore the speed of the train gets defined. Speed of that train which is starting from P, right? It covers a distance of 180 kilometers in 6 hours. So 180 divided by 6, which is 30 kmph, is its speed. And speed of the train which is starting from station Q, so it's covering in 9 hours. So 180 by 9, which is 20 kmph, right? Now, so the thing is that relative speed is obviously that what will come across in this question because the trains are coming towards each other. But relative speed will only start applying when the two objects are moving together. Right now, initially from 12 to 1 p.m. only train starting from station P is moving. So we should consider how much distance it has moved in that much time. So its speed over here has come to be 30 kmph. So in 1 hour, it will cover 30 kilometers. So somewhere around here, let's say point X, which is 30 kilometers further, right? So now the distance that remains between the two trains is this distance. So 180 minus 30, which is 150 kilometers. Now we can say that at 1 p.m., right? This right now time is 1 p.m. and the two trains are starting towards each other with the speeds of 30 and 20. This speed is 30, this speed is 20. So relative speed is 50. So the time taken for the trains to meet since 1 p.m. will be the distance to be covered of 150 kilometers at the relative speed of 20 plus 30, which is 50 kmph. So 150 by 50, which is 3 hours. So starting from 1 p.m., another 3 hours, which is 4 p.m. So Psycho, I think some mistake happened there, some error, right? 4 p.m., not 3 p.m., right? I think you forgot that the time starts from 12, from 12, not 12, rather 1, right? So the relative speed starts applying from 1 p.m. and onwards. So you had to add 3 hours to 1 p.m. Perfect. So the point therefore is be careful, right? Means take a minute more, but get the answer correct, right? 3 minutes spent in getting an answer wrong by some silly mistake is obviously futile, and spending 4 minutes in getting it correct is a time well spent, right? Yeah, Anant, we took the distance as a multiple of basically the time periods, which is 9 and 6, right? You could have taken as anything. You could have taken as X also. You would get the same answer, right? In all these questions where data is not given and you're assuming something, it does not matter what you assume, right? So the LCM concept has come across in so many things, right? We use that in time and work, right? Where we're assuming the total work. Here we are using also, right? Okay, okay. Moving on, moving on. Let's see next one. Oh, time and work. Okay. So let me give you a 1 minute head start to try this and then we'll discuss. It's a theta question as well. Okay, so let me start. If you're getting this, let me know. It's a theta question. So this thing strikes me that C works at 60% efficiency as compared to B, right? Question basically gives us the time taken when 2 out of 3 people are working pairwise. A and B time is given, A and C time is given. We would want to assume the total work based on that time period of 10 and 12. Let's say, LCM is 60. Okay, so therefore, right, let's take the work to be anything 120. I'm taking, right? It could be anything, any multiple of 60 is fine. Thank you, Psycho. This time you're correct. Good. Okay, so work, I'm taking anything 120. Fine. Now I'll define the work rates of B and C as per the ratio. 60% means 3 by 5. So 3 is to 5 is the ratio of work rates of C and B. So if I take the rate, first of all, A's rate is something completely independent. So if I take A's rate as something X units and B and C, so C's rate is 3/5 of B's rate. So if this rate is 5 units, this rate is 3 units, but it could be any multiple of that. So I'm taking 5y and 3y. Perfect. Now we can write the equations on this rate that the way I have assumed them. So I have made use of all the information. I've made use of the 60%. Now I will write the equations based on this 10 days and 12 days. So when A and B work together, so the total rate, which is X plus 5y, should be equal to the rate which is achieved, which is that the work of 120 units has been done in 10 days. So 120 divided by 10, which is 12. X plus 5y is therefore 12 is my first equation. A and C working, they can finish in 12 days. So their work rate combined is X plus 3y. So therefore X plus 3y is 120 by 12, which is 10. Perfect. Simple equations, get them. So 2y is coming to be 1. Subtract the equations, you get y is 1. Put y equal to 1 back, you're getting X as 12 minus 5, which is 7. So we got the rates. A's rate is 7 units, B's rate is 5 units, C's rate is 3 units. Okay, so what's the question? In how many days can C alone finish the work? C's rate has come to be 3 units per day. So therefore, the time taken for C to finish the work is the work to be done of 120 units at the rate of 3 units per day. So he will take 120 by 3, which is 40 days. Right? Okay, so can be done in many ways. Okay, I use the LCM approach. Some people are more comfortable with the fraction approach, right? I have mostly used the LCM concept and assigning the values, right? Okay, good psycho, everyone. Let's see the next one. Here we go. Profit, loss, and discount. The question is something slightly different. I guess you might not have seen such a question. So let me give you a minute to get your creative juices flowing over here. Let's see if you can get something over here. All right, so something to take away from this question. Let's see how to do this. So from grapes we are getting raisins basically by drying. So what's happening is that water is getting removed from fresh grapes to yield raisins, right? So what's the main thing that we have to find, right? Question is asking if the retailer wants 50% profit, by what percentage should the selling price of raisins exceed the cost price of fresh grapes? Fresh grapes have 75% water. When left to dry, the resins having 1/6, means 16.66% water. So water content, water is being removed, right? So its proportion will decrease, right? There is something apart from water in grapes, right? What do we call that? Fruit pulp. So basically, fresh grapes is comprised of the fruit pulp and the water. The water is being removed, but the fruit pulp is not going anywhere, right? That content is there still in the resin as much as it was in the fresh grapes. So the point is, I have to obviously figure out what is the proportion of the weight of raisins as a fraction of the weight of grapes that the retailer originally bought, right? So that, because he will decide his selling price based on what, how much quantity he has with him to sell. Maybe he has bought 100 kg of fresh grapes, but he will not have 100 kg of raisins to sell because something is being removed. So his I mean the weight of what he has to sell is being decreased, so his price has to significantly shoot up. So let's start by assigning some values over here. First of all, to the cost price of fresh grapes. Okay, so let me say that the cost price of fresh grapes is 100 rupees per kg. Okay, now what I'm saying is that pulp, the fruit pulp, does not change. It remains the same in quantity. So if I take, let's say there was X kg of fresh grapes, if I take, let's say there were X kg of fresh grapes, and let's say there were Y kg of raisins that we obtained from them. So can we say that 75% was water? So the amount of the amount of fruit pulp in fresh grapes is 25% of X. So the pulp quantity will not change. So initially in the fresh grapes it was 25% of X, which was the fruit pulp, whereas in the raisins it is only 1/6 water, so remaining 5/6 is pulp. So this should also be the same as this 25% of X should also be the same as 5/6 of Y. So this gives us the relationship between what we bought and what we have to sell. So we are getting the relation over here, 25%, which means X by 4 is 5/6 of Y, or X upon Y is coming to be 4 into 5, 20/6, or 10/3. So what we can now therefore proceed from here, how we can do is, we can assume, let's say that X is nothing but 10 kg itself, right? So let's say this retailer, he bought 10 kg of fresh grapes. So X is, I'm taking as 10 itself, Y I'm taking as 3 itself, right? So the total, amount spent, total cost based on this 100 rupees per kg is 1000 rupees. He has spent 100 rupees. If he wants 50% profit, so what he should have is revenue. What he should be able to get back, obviously 50% more than 1000, which is 1500 bucks. Now this 1500 rupees that he wants to gain can only be obtained by selling how much quantity? He has only 3 kgs to sell, right? The quantity that he can sell, quantity to be that he can sell is only 3 kg, right? We have assumed that he bought 10 kg, so total cost of 1000 rupees. We have therefore need a revenue of 1500 rupees for a 50% profit by selling only 3 kg. So what is the selling price? 1500 rupees to be obtained from 3 kg only, which is 500 rupees per kg. So his selling price of raisins is 5 times of the cost of fresh grapes. It's 5 times of that. So it is 400% more. It's 400% more, right? Perfect. Let me repeat this once more. Fresh grapes have lot of water. Raisins are very much dry. Water is being removed. What is not changing is the fruit pulp content is not changing. So we need to establish what is the ratio between the quantity of fresh grapes bought and the quantity of raisins obtained. So this is the relation that the pulp quantity is not changing. So if 75% of water content was there in the fresh grapes, then 25% of the total weight was the fruit pulp. That should also match with, since 1/6 of water was there when raisins were obtained, so the remaining 5/6 of the total weight should be the fruit pulp. So this should also match with 5/6 of y. This gives us the relation x is to y is 10 is to 3. That if you're buying 10 kg of fresh grapes, you only have 3 kg of raisins left to sell. And further, I think it's very simple. We assumed 10 and 3. We did the calculation. We assumed a cost value as 100 rupees per kg for the fresh grapes. And then we obtained that, okay, we have only 3 kg to sell. We need 1500 bucks. So selling price is 500. Hence, the markup is 400 percentage on the basis of the cost of fresh grapes. Right. Okay. Let's see next one. So something we learned with the last problem, right? A very different question. Another very unique kind of a problem here. Let's see if you can get this. It's a one-liner, right? Either you get it or don't. Means it's a very straightforward one. So let me see if you can understand what this question is asking. Okay. Thank you, Arup. Very well done. That is correct. I hope your logic is also correct. Okay. So yeah, let's discuss this. There is a set for which 2, 4 is a proper subset. What is a proper subset? It means the original set should have at least one more element apart from 2 and 4. So basically, uh, every set is a subset of itself, right? So if there is a set of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that set is a subset of itself also. But proper subset of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is anything apart from that. So it should, so at least one element should be removed in order to get a proper subset. So now we are backtracking the possibility of the original set. So can I say the original set S should have at least one more element apart from 2 and 4. So 2 and 4 is guaranteed, but apart from that, there need to be some more elements in it. But there is one more condition. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is a proper subset, right? Yes, Anand. Yes, Arup. Thank you. Correct. People got this. Right. Good. Right. So yeah. So proper subset means 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. At least one element needs to be removed from this to get the set S. So we know already 2, 4 is already there in set S. Apart from that, what it may or may not have is from these remaining three elements, which is 6, 8, 10. But at least one needs to be removed. So amongst 6, 8, 10, there needs to be at least one, but not all. That is the final logic that we have over here. At least one element from 6, 8, 10 should be there, but not all. If all will be there, then this condition will not be satisfied, right? So I guess, yeah, obviously you can have either 6 or 8 or 10 or 6 and 8 or 6 and 10 or 8 and 10, right? A handful of uh, you know possibilities, 6 ways that you can define your set. All right, thank you. Let's see next one. Now coming to something on algebra. Okay, so let me start this. This is a bit of a tricky one. Is if you know some basics on maxima minima, you can very much do this. And also you need the theory of polynomials. You need to be knowing the theory of polynomials to be able to do this question. So you can see it's a cubic sort of an equation. I would say sort of because x is not there, but instead of x there is mod x. So it needs to have 6 distinct integer solutions. We know a cubic can only have 3 integer solutions, three solutions at the most. But this one has 6 because instead of x there is mod x. So consider mod x to be another variable, call it y, so that in terms of y this is a cubic, right? So the equation reduces to be called as y cube minus 13y square. Why? Because mod x whole square is the same as y square. So x square is the same as y square. If mod x equals y means x square equals y square. So y cube minus 13y squared plus ay minus b equals 0 has now this can have at the most 3 solutions. So in order for the original equation to have 6 solutions, it means that the solutions of y, they all need to be positive numbers. And in this particular question, because there need to be integers, so they need to be positive integers, right? The solutions in y need to be positive integers. Now there is only one coefficient whose actual value you know, which is 13. Now though, so as I was saying, this question requires the understanding of theory of polynomials, which means that in a cubic polynomial in general, which can be written as uh, a x cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equals 0, if the roots are alpha beta gamma, then we should know this, that sum of the roots alpha plus beta plus gamma is minus b by a. So and similarly alpha into beta plus beta into gamma plus gamma into alpha, which means sum of the product of roots taken 2 at a time is a c by a, and alpha into beta into gamma, the product of the roots is minus d by a. Minus b by a, c by a, minus d by a, right? Hence in this particular question, the sum of the roots, called that y1 plus y2 plus y3, is simply coming to be 13. Now question is asking for the maximum possible value of a plus b. Now a is nothing in this case, the coefficient a, the coefficient of y, is nothing as per this. It is going to be y1 y2 plus y2 y3 plus y3 y1, sum of the product of roots taken 3 at a time. And b is going to be nothing but y1 into y2 into y3. So the point is, sum of 3 integers is constant, and we have to maximize in a way their product, isn't it? Because b is simply their product, and a also involves taking their product, taking 2 at a time. So we know the logic from maxima minima, that whenever sum of certain variables is constant, their product is maximized when the values are equal or as equal as possible. So with 13 being the sum of 3 integers, we have to take them in a way that they are 3 integers which are as equal as possible. 13 is not divisible by 3, so we cannot have 3. Moreover, we need 6 distinct solutions. So y1, y2, y3 are all distinct integers, right? They are distinct integers. So 13 averages to around 4.6. We know that 13 by 3 is 4.66, right? So we need to be around 4 something. So let's say I take y1, y2, y3 as, let's say, okay, so if I take 3, 4, 5, that is 12. 3, 4, 5 would be 12, but I need 13. So can I say 3, 4, 6 makes it 3, 4, 6 is 13? I cannot do better than that, isn't it? I cannot squeeze that gap. 3 and 4 are already consecutive numbers. 4 and 6 only have a gap of one more than that, right? So I guess this is the best case possible for 3 distinct integers to add up to 13. So I guess our job is now just to do the calculation with a and b. So therefore a max and b max, and then we need to add them. A max is 3 into 4 12, 4 into 6 24, 3 into 6 18, 12 and 24 36, 36 and 18 54. Likewise, this is 3 into 4 into 6, which is 72. So therefore I guess, right? 3 4 into 6, sorry, 3 into 4, 12 into 6, 72. All right, so therefore I guess we are getting this to be what 126, right. 126 is the best case. All right, so again this question was quite deep, testing a lot of concepts, and my agenda in these sessions is to bring out the fact that how a same question can go on and ask two or three concepts, right? So we are now very clear on a lot of things, right? Maxima minima kind of question, this was perfect, clear. Any doubt you can ask me, else we can move on. Okay, PNC, next one. Now not got an answer in the last few questions, so I would just want to see if you can get this. Again, a theta question. It's quite a doable one. Quite a doable one. You can get this. Still waiting your answers. I'm waiting because this can be done by you. I know this. Well, let me start, but do give me your answers if you get that. So, the question is very simple. NC3 is 220. What is NC4? That's a simple question, isn't it? NC3, the number of triangles that you can get from the vertices of a polygon will always be NC3, where n is the number of vertices. So question is simply asking, if NC3 is 20, what is NC4? How many collaterals can be drawn? The whole point of giving you the vertices of a polygon, is that no three vertices will ever be collinear, right? No three vertices of a polygon can ever be collinear, right? So with NC3 being 220, you have to find n, and then you have to find NC4. So therefore, NC3 is nothing but n minus 1, n minus 2 by 3 factorial, which is 6, is 220. So you have to find n minus 1, n minus 2 is 220 into 6. So break it, 220 into 6, break it into factors such that it becomes the product of three consecutive factors. So 220, you can break it down as 11 into 20 into 6, which is also nothing but 10 into 11 into 12. So that is the, I think, exactly what we wanted to have. So therefore, n is nothing but 12. So your answer is nothing but the value of 12C4, which, yes, Anup, is 495. Right? 12C4, which is 12 into 11 into 10 into 9, divide by 4 factorial, which is 24, comes out to be 495. Right. So uh, something to understand, right? You can also have an equation in terms of NCR, right? So you have to find sometimes what is n, right? We do PNC questions in which we know n typically, and we calculate the values, right? So you should be comfortable in doing the backtracking of the value of n in some questions like this, right? So the trick is, effectively this was a cubic equation, but I did not, open this up. I did not do the multiplication of these factors. I rather split down the number 220 into 6 in a way that it matches up with this. Right? That's the whole point. That's how you can find the values of n in such equations. Okay, good. Right? Let's see next one. Numbers. Okay, so let's take this. The square root as well as the cube root, the square root as well as the cube root of a certain natural number are integers. All but 3 of the factors of this number are composite. Which of the following can be the total number of factors of such a number? Now, I have read the question so that it strikes you what it is asking. Let me wait for a minute. Let's see if you can get this. Question is possibility based. Which of the following can be the total number of factors of such a number? Anand, I guess you cannot have 6 solutions if you take y to be minus 3. You will have no solution if you take y to be minus 3. Mod x equal to minus 3 has no real solution. I hope that makes sense. You cannot work with minus 3, minus 4. Then there will be no solution to be obtained in x, isn't it? Clear? Okay, so I'm waiting for your answers on this one. Okay, so let me start with this one. So obviously the number has to be a perfect square as well as perfect cube. Only then its square root as well as cube root are going to be integers. So it's basically the 6th power of some number, right? So n is something like a power 6, where a is an integer, right? Only then the first condition will be satisfied. Then comes the next things. So the question is primarily on the factor logic, the logic of factors of a number, right? All but 3 of the factors of this number are composite. All but 3 means there are 3 factors of this number which are not composite. Now, not composite is prime numbers, but apart from that there is one more number which is not composite and also not prime, which is 1. So basically I get to understand that this number has 3 non-composite factors, which is 1, and there are 2 other prime factors of it, call it p1, p2, right? So effectively what I understand from the second statement is that this number has 2 prime factors in it, right? Now, so we were talking of the fact that this number is the 6th power of an integer. So now we get to understand that this number needs to be of the form p1 raised to power a multiple of 6, call it 6m. Any multiple of 6 will be fine, times p2 power another multiple of 6 to that, right? This is the prime factorization, how this number, how it will be prime factorized. It is the product of 2 primes and the powers of each of those primes needs to be multiple of 6. Comes now the question, which of the following can be the total number of factors? We know the total number of factors of any number is obtained by increasing the powers of each prime factor by 1 and multiplying, which means it will be of the form 6m plus 1 times 6n plus 1. So from the options, we have to check that which number is of this form, right? So for m equal to n equal to 1, I'll get, let's say, if I put m equal to 1 and n equal to 1, let's say I'll get 7 into 749, but that's not in the options. I'm just trying with hidden. I'm doing now just doing hidden trial. Let's say if I take m is equal to 2, n is equal to 1, what happens? 6 into 2, 12 plus 1, 13 into 7, 91. That's your answer, right? So I think very clever question, asking you a lot of logics on numbers, right? The fact that what does it mean for a number to be not composite, right? We always forget that 1 is also such a number which is not composite, right? 1 is neither prime nor composite. All right, so I hope this was fun because we learned something new, right? And we will take this forward, right? Perhaps might be useful. All right, so it was fun for me. I hope you also learned something. Okay, so thank you. Care Launcher CAT 2025 Power 30. This is a module that is available. If it suits you, you can check out with our team. It has 15 session tests, 15 sessions, 15 CDC mocks, right? So you can check it out with a month away. I guess if you're still looking for, you know, a rigorous practice and help, so this is something that can help you. Fine. All but three confuse you. Yes, Anand, right? That's the question. Okay, so thank you so much, people. Thank you. All the best. Also make use of our mobile app. It is available on both iOS and Android, right? Okay, so I'll see you in the next one. Till then, keep up with your good work. Thank you. All the best.